Yo, 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 it's Nismo in the building. How are you people? How are ya? So, my name is Nismo, for those of you that don't know me. I'm one of the pack trading owners. Today I'm going to be talking about market structure internal for you guys. The previous videos you probably saw from SRT, the market structure swing videos. So now we're going to do internal for you guys. Um, yeah, if you guys have any questions, let us know. We have a channel on the Discord that says questions, so feel free to ask whatever's on your mind. But let's get into it. So, before we get into it, real quick, I want to do something real quick. Sorry. Okay, so let's just say this. In the previous videos of swing structure, you would have been taught how swing structure is ran. So BOS, then choch. So for example, you have a BOS over here. Yeah, this is your protected low. Yeah, that would be your protected high. What happened? It broke the protected low, which symbolized that structure is bearish after it created a change of character, which is done over here. Blah blah blah. Okay, just refreshing you guys' mind, whatever. Now we're going to be doing internal, so whatever is within the range of the swing break of structure. For example, it will be as if it is a trend line, not a run. So this is a run. Instead, it'll be like this, trend line, internal. So you'll start seeing it like that. That's how you'll see it, internal. Um, but let me go through what internal structure is. So internal structure is within swing range, protected low, protected high, weak low, weak high, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. Um, so let's start marking out. So internal is the exact same as swing, the exact same way how you would mark swing, but instead it's just internal. So for example, oh, the BOS right here, oh, BOS right here. What do you have? You have the internal protected high. Now, after a break of structure, what you learned in the previous video, you can't mark a protected high, or I would say a lower high. You can't mark it unless it's created a break of structure. Alright? Same as a lower low. You can't mark a lower low until there's a significant amount of a pullback. So what do we see here? A pullback. So that would be a lower low. But what does it do? It breaks the structure. Okay? Exact same as swing. This high got protected. It gave a pullback. It protected the premium area and it went down. Alright? So after break of structure, you got a protected high. Protected high. Same thing. Break of structure. Okay? Before this break of structure happened, this was a lower low. Why was it a lower low? It gave a significant amount of a pullback. Alright, this is internal. So internal, you don't really need to care about a significant amount of pullback. It's more for swing, I would say. Internal is just, seeing what structure wants to do on a lower time frame to like signify what's happening on the market. Anyway, so we got a BOS. After a BOS, what happens? So a protected high. What happens to the protected high now? It got broken. Alright. Before this got broken, this was marked as a lower low. So this was actually marked as a protected low. Alright. It was actually marked as a protected low, but now it's not a protected low since it changed character, where the protected high is. So we're going to change that to choch. Now that's an internal choch. Now same thing. Alright. What did it do after a choch? We expect a pullback. A BOS. Alright. Expect a pullback. That's our lower low. So let's just put protected low since it created a breaker structure. Same thing. Alright, after a breaker structure, it created a higher high. So this can't be this high. We're expecting it to be weak. The reasoning why is because structure is bullish. So we're going to expect a pullback. We're going to expect the pullback to respect the protected low and move upwards. So what does it do? It does what I just said. So it respected the protected low and now it's breaking structure. So it broke structure and then bang. After we break structure, we expect a pullback, pulled back, broke another structure. Alright, this is a protected low now. Okay, with internal, I'm going to go through it now. There's different types of ways where you can mark internal structure. So you could either mark your lower low here or here, depending on how you like to review internal for your type of plan. There's ways of being taught internal. It shouldn't be that complicated internal, but it's only used, I would say, for low time frame entries, or you wouldn't really use it for, I don't know, probably not for, I don't know. Nah, you wouldn't, like, for me, I don't really use it, internal, but just depending on your strategy, that's how you will define your bias or whatever. So now we got that breaker structure. After the breaker structure, so pullback. Alright, let's mark this. That will be our high. It turned into a BOS. Alright, it respected the protected low. Breaker structure. Now that's our protected low. By the way, guys, there's different wordings of how you can say these type of words. Protected low, higher low. Yeah. So protected low, what did it do now? Okay. This is all internal. Okay. Now, this signifies when the pullback's over. For example, you could be looking at swing, alright, 4 hour. You don't know when it's gonna shift or whatever, so you go look at internal, you go to the lower time frame, see when the choch happens. Whenever the choch happens, that lets you know that alright, structure's shifting now, the pullback's kind of ended. Now it's gonna continue your way, continue the way your bias is, and so on, so on. So that's pretty much the basics of internal. Sorry, I'm just deleting everything. Okay, so now I've went through a quick rundown on structure, the rules of internal. Yeah, I have to go through that. So rules of internal would be what the rules that are taught upon people are go for the most recent low or recent high. So for example, let's just say this is your swing range, okay? This is your swing range. Alright, so fuck. One sec. Alright, I know it looks ugly, guys, but let's just say, okay, Let's make it easier for them to understand. Ooh. Okay. Alright, let's do an example, alright? So say this is a breaker structure, alright, internal. Alright. What you would normally and originally do is you would mark your most recent high or recent low. So the most recent, as we can see, would be here. So protected high right here. That's our most recent, okay? What I mean by recent is, for example, break of structure. Where is it? Blind cunt. Alright. Break of structure right here. Alright. You've got a break of structure. Alright. Most recent high, okay? So within the break of structure, we see two highs, okay? So the most recent high means after the break of structure, where is the most recent high where you can mark it as if it is the protected high, okay? So it would be here. Now, this is what I mean by you can play internal differently. So you can play it depending on how you trade, alright? Every trade is different, alright? Traders aren't really the same, but there's ways of being taught how to trade internal. So you could trade it as if it's the most recent protected high, or you could trade internal as if you could see internal as normal small break of structures within a swing break of structure. So you could see it as a protected high right here. Oh, you can see it as a protected high right here instead of here. Okay, so that's the highest point, or you can see it as the most recent point right there. Okay, that's the most recent because it's the closest to where the structure has been broken. That's the highest because that's the highest of where the structure has been broken. So hopefully that you guys can understand with that. So when we use internal, we normally use it for lower time frames. So for example, let me quickly do this. This is 4 hour. This is 15-minute. Okay, let me just quickly highlight. 4 hour, bang, bang. Oh shit. Oh shit, wait, do it again. 4 hour. Okay. 15-minute. Wait. Okay, and then we got 1 minute. Okay. So where we use internal, for example, we can use internal within the 4 hour 4 hour structure. So within the 4 hour structure, it will be like this: 4 hour BOS. All right. Now we want to know when we could go long position again because structure is bullish. So we hop on 15-minute. This pink is just for now. I'm just telling you guys this is 15-minute, for example. 15-minute. Okay. We see a pullback. All right. Now we see a choch on 15-minute. Okay. So we would use internal within the 4 hour structure market structure. So for example, you guys will learn this later on. There'll be a demand, for example, on a 4 hour, and then you would go on the low 15-minute. You look for a 15-minute internal choch here. So it will happen around here. Internal choch will look something like this right here. Internal choch. Okay, and then it goes up, goes down, goes up, creates a new BOS on the 15-minute. Okay, now you hop on the 1 minute. Okay, you have a lower time frame here marked out. Or you have a 15-minute, sorry, marked out. 15-minute demand marked out. Bang. You have it marked out. You go on the 1 minute, wait for it to tap in, play internal choch, then go on a lower time frame, which is 1 minute demand. Wait for the 1 minute demand to tap in. Bang. It tapped in. You go long. That's pretty much how internal could be, simplified. So internal is within the structure of the time frame. It's within the break of structure of that specific time frame. So 4 hour, that's internal. With it, whatever's within the break of structure, 15 minutes, same goes. Whatever's within the change of character or the BOS, right here, internal. Pretty much, yeah. So I kind of showed multi-time frame there with internal, but this is just on the fake charts, just showing examples and all that. But now I'm going to go on the real chart, and I'm going to show you how it actually is done. Okay. So for example, I'm going to mark this out for you guys. Sorry, my nose. Oh, fuck. Alright. 4 hour breaker structure. Bang. That's my 4 hour breaker structure. Now internal is within the 4 hour breaker structure. So what do? Okay. We have to mark out the breaker structures. Okay. So let's just start from. We can start from here. Alright. Breaker structure. That's our protected high. Or that's our breaker structure. Now you can play it as if your protected high internally is the most recent, which will be that. Most recent from the breaker structure. Now, most recent meaning when you see a high, when you see a pullback. So it's not just any most recent candle, it's most recent pullback. So that is a pullback. It's a tiny pullback. It's a gap. You know what I mean? If it's just candle and you mark that, nah, that's not a high. It's not an internal high. Because this week is not higher than this week. Until you wait for this week to be higher than that, then that signifies that that's a most recent high. As you watch and learn more, you'll start to understand it. It will become easy. Don't stress too much. So let's continue. We're going to go breaker structure. Now your internal could be internal with wicks, candle closure. It could be whatever. It could be just wick closure. It could just be candle closure, depending on how your strategy is. So I will show you an example of what I mean. So before I do that, so this would be your protected high. What does the protected high do? Okay. What does it do? Now, like I said, yours could be candle closure or wick closure. Okay. If it's wick closure, you could not consider it as a choch. But since this is a candle closure, majority of the time, obviously, you do consider it as a choch. So this wouldn't be a protected high anymore. We'll put this as internal choch. Bang. Internal choch. And then, since that's our internal choch, what happens now? After a pullback, we can put the high. So we can put we could just put high like this. Alright, that's our high. Okay. Now what happens? Alright. This is internal, okay? So that's our choch. That's our high. Now what we have to wait for is the high to be broken. It didn't break. What did it do? It kept coming down. Okay? So now we mark this. That's the lowest point. So we would mark, or actually no, because it's internal, you could mark it like this. So you could mark it as, nah, this is how it would be, sorry. Okay, so it would be choch, high, high. Okay, now we look for the low. Lower. This is the higher low. It gets taken out. What happens here? Higher low. It gets taken out. So what I was explaining, you could mark it internally with the way your plan is. You could mark it as this counts as a choch, or nah, it's not a choch yet because it didn't candle closure. So you move it all the way to the right until it candle closes. So then that's when you'll consider it as a choch for internal, depending on how you trade internal. So you could be like, for your strat, internal is candle closure within the higher time frame breaker structure, and then you could be like, internal is the wick candle closure. Oh, the wick closure. Sorry, not candle closure. So there's two different internals, depending on how you trade. Like I said, um, so that's the protected low. I would say it got taken out, created a choch. So for now, let's just mark it as uh, wick choch. All right, what happens after the choch? That's our high after that choch. Now there's another choch. Now we can mark out our most recent high, which will be this high. Alright, what happened? It was a choch. Okay, the high got taken out internal, so we're gonna put choch right here. Bang. Alright, after the choch, now we look for after the choch. That's our high now. Bang. Alright, that's our high. What happened? It created another internal choch. What did it do? Oh, fucking cunt. Alright, create another internal choch. Bang. Now our most recent high would be here. Yeah, our lower high, because now it's bearish internal. So then we'll mark this. We'll change this to lower high, and then we wait for the pullback. And we'll mark this as our lower low. Okay. Mark this as our lower low. Okay. Why is it our lower low? It gave a significant amount of a pullback. Okay. Before we drag this lower low all the way to the right, we have to see what happens here. So the lower high ended up touching this. So now we can count that as a choch. So we can change this as a choch. So bang, it's a choch. Internal choch. Okay, so that's the internal choch. Now what? It gave a significant pullback, so we can mark that as a high. That's a high. Okay, that's our high now. What happens now? So choch, high. Alright, we're playing internal within this range now, so we drag this all the way to the right. Bang, gave another breaker structure. Now we mark this as a choch. So see how it keeps flipping internal? Like, that's why internal is less probable of having a high win rate. Okay, because internal always shifts. Okay, it's not strong. It's not like high time frame swing. Okay, that's one thing you should learn. So now that it's created a choch, it's going down, and then now after a pullback, that's our lower low. Create a BOS. That's our high. Goes back down. Lower low. Okay, the most recent high is up here. Wicks it, which is a choch. Alright, most recent low, high. Okay, breaker structure. That's our low, choch. Now that's our low, now that's our lower high, now it's choch. It starts to get in your head. It's very easy, okay? So that's pretty much how you would mark internal. Um, it's not really complicated at all. Um, but it should be very easy for you guys to ace down. But like I said, if you guys got any questions, please feel free to ask us. There's three of us that will be more than happy to answer your questions. We're very knowledgeable with trading, and it doesn't hurt to ask a question. Um, we can even go on one-on-one calls if you guys would like, just to give you guys an extra hand if you can't. If you're not really a visual learner, you need more of a, how do I say it? Anyway, forget it. I don't know what the fuck I was saying just then, but yeah. So if you need help, just ask us, whatever, and we'll help you. We'll get back to you shortly. I hope you guys enjoyed, and take it.